What's up, bookworms, and welcome to another reading review. On the docket for this review is Operation Bounce House by Matt Dinniman. If that name sounds familiar, that's because it should. Matt Dinniman is the author of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, which I reviewed book one last year, and I look forward to reading more Dungeon Crawler Carl books, hopefully later this year, actually. I think this is the first time I've read an additional book by an author on the channel. I'd have to go back and check, but I don't think there's been multiple reviews. Maybe of Stephen King, maybe I'm not sure. But I digress nonetheless. Operation Bounce House was published this year, 2026. I don't know specifically what month it came out, but sometime earlier. This is June, so sometime before June is when Operation Bounce House came out. Very briefly, Operation Bounce House, it follows the story of Oliver Lewis. He lives on this planet, New Sonora, or New Sonora, or I would say New Sonora is how I would say it. And he's a farmer there with his sister, and there are other people that also live there on a farm. The entire populace got to the planet through like these generation ships that did like long travel through space from Earth and everything like that. Anyway, they're there on their farm, and the main crux of the story is that as part of like this online game, these mechs from space, like, you know, big mech robots from space, come down and start killing everyone because they're supposedly terrorists, according to like the company that runs it, or back on Earth. There's more nuance than that, but that's, you know, that's the crux of it. Look, I struggled with how to like approach this, but I didn't like it. I did not care for Operation Bounce House. You know, and I think part of that may come from that right before this, I read East of Eden, and they couldn't be more polar opposites of the types of not only novels, but also authors that they are. Dinniman is a very nuts and bolts, I think is how I would describe him as an author, which is okay. I like that. I read a lot of authors that are nuts and bolts, especially in science fiction. I generally like that. But I think reading that right after Steinbeck might have been a mistake on my part. I don't think if I had just read this book a little bit later, I would suddenly like it, because it's more than the writing style. I just don't think it's very good. I didn't like the story that much. I didn't find any of the characters especially interesting. Honestly, other than Oliver and there's a robot AI named Roger. Other than that, I couldn't tell you any of the names of the characters. I struggled to make myself read this book. It's not, don't misunderstand me. There's nothing like offensive about it. There's nothing that is like, it's not like it's poorly written or anything like that. It just wasn't engaging for me. Maybe that's because a big part of the book is kind of like online, like gaming culture references. I play a lot of video games, so like nothing felt new to me or interesting to me. Even like, you know, the farmers against soldiers trope is pretty common in sci-fi. So like I didn't find that especially interesting. Other than Oliver, who is the main character and everything's kind of told through his point of view, I didn't find any of the characters especially good or interesting. They all felt very interchangeable, which again was juxtaposed by how individual characters felt in East of Eden that I had read previously. Whereas these characters here all felt so interchangeable. Like, I'm like, anyone could be saying this. None of this matters. I also, I just like it's a book where I think that weirdly, I think it should have probably been longer, or maybe this overall story spread across 2 or 3 novels, because then it would have allowed the room to develop those other characters more. And I get the feeling that because he's got the other series, he's still writing DCC. I get the feeling Dinniman didn't want to start another series and wanted to do a standalone that could then potentially, there is room for more books in this universe later as well. And look, I got to applaud the guy. Like, he stretched himself to write something that wasn't just from his hit series in the midst of writing his hit series. That's no small feat. I'm not knocking Dinniman at all. In general, I like his writing. I've liked Dungeon Crawler Carl that I've read so far. This just wasn't it for me. That's not to say that other people haven't liked it or won't like it. Again, I don't read reviews before reading a book, but I do often read them afterwards to see what other people think. Overall, the reception has been fairly positive for Operation Bounce House. Lots of reviewers have praised the humor in it. Honestly, the humor fell pretty flat for me, but again, that may be because I'm more familiar with online gaming culture, so maybe that's why the humor fell flat for me. I don't know. I would think that would make it resonate with me more, but it for whatever reason it didn't. It just didn't. It fell kind of flat for me. And they also praised the overall story, which again didn't do it for me. It's stuff that I've read before in some form or another. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I just didn't think there was anything specifically interesting about this particular version. I will say that the last quarter of Operation Bounce House was way better than the first 2/3. But the work was not worth the payoff, is how I would put it. I don't want to go into too much detail because I try to avoid spoilers when I do these reviews, but it just I had to make myself finish this book. It was a struggle for me to just sit down and read it. I was like, I don't want to read this, but I don't give up. Sorry if you can hear rain in the background. So then, of course, we come to the question that we always come to at the end of a review. Should you read Operation Bounce House? And honestly, no, you should not. I personally think it'd be a waste of your time. There are way too many good books out there. There are other good books by Dinniman that you should read instead. Go read Dungeon Crawler Carl if you want something by Dinniman. Don't read my opinion. Don't read this. I didn't like it. I think this might be the lowest score that I've ever given on the channel, but this gets a half bookworm out of 5.